You okay, Sean? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could remain standing and remember our men and women in the armed forces and those affected by COVID, and two local residents that we lost, Margaret Moniz and Willie Daniels. Margaret Moniz, I gave her a birthday cake here over the camera, was 101. Willie Daniels was 102. Great people. Thank you. Okay. So we have 3 public hearings on property maintenance, and I have them looped all into one, which is okay, Madam Attorney? It's okay, I have looped them all into one. So the addresses are 17 Schneider Avenue, 16 South Street, and 9 Fort Putnam Street. Is there anyone, I'll open the public hearing at this time. Is there, on those 3 locations, is there anyone here, owner or representing 17 Schneider, 16 South Street, 9 Fort Putnam? Let the record show no, that there's no one here. Across the street, but I don't know which one. I think next to yours. Oh, no. You know where it is? That's right. Okay, so there's no one here, the record will show. And you have the resolution. We'll turn this over to the building department, and he will hire a contractor to go in and take care of what the violations are at these 3 properties. And then the bill will be paid to the contractor, and then we will get it back from the county. So that's the good news, that we do get it back. Take a moment. It's the standard resolution that we do for each property maintenance. And it spells all that out about getting back the money for legal costs, corrective costs, administrative costs. That all gets charged to the property owner. Is there anything you would like to add?
No, just that the property owner will be sent a bill, and if it's not paid, then it will be levied on the tax.
Correct. So I'll close the public hearing, and we do the resolution now on the 3 properties. Do I have a motion?
So, second.
Motion by Trustee Guerrero, seconded by Trustee DeSalvo. May I have roll call?
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Albert?
Yes.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Trustee Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you so much. We have bills and claims before you. $243,480.67. I would just note that $122,500 is the senior citizen building, which is a grant. But still has to be paid this way, and then we get reimbursed. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from a regular meeting, October 3, 2022, and then we had a special meeting on October 13th, 2022.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gary, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Everyone was at both meetings?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have the annual resolution requesting property tax exemption from the county of the village-owned water supply property, Bog Meadow. This will be sent to the Orange County Chair, Legislature. It'll be sent to both party leaders, asking that they concur like they have year after year, and forgive the property county tax on Bog Meadow. May I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Brian?
Did you hear me?
It's okay. And may I have roll call?
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Albert?
Yes.
Trustee Salvo?
Yes.
Trustee Phillips?
Yes.
Mayor Denine.
Yes, thank you so much. Motion carries. Then I have a proposal for cleaning services from Vanguard. You have that before you. They'll take care of the village hall and the police station. Anywhere else, Gina? Not the senior center. Our guys do
Not at
that.
this time.
Yeah.
but
Okay.
If you open up to it, there would be an additional
Okay,
cost.
so right now it's this building.
What happens in the old contract, Joe? Eva? Was it Eva's?
Eves, yeah. The contract as annual came up, and there were reasons why she decided to leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been doing it in-house, right? So, we've been doing it ourselves for a week, and that's fine. Motion? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gary, all in favor?
Yes.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay. Public comment, well, I want to say something, and then if anyone has any comments. Olga, thank you for the mums. They're starting to pop now, and it's really going to be nice. And those are the kinds of things that I believe people like here: the hanging baskets, the trees on the sidewalk planters, the different displays that we do. I went to Hoboken, New Jersey yesterday for the christening of my granddaughter, and the mum plants down there and the displays are beautiful. And I actually took some pictures because we can do it here too. And I don't need the pictures to do it here. I like stuff like that. So we'll work on this even more. Okay, thank you though. Thank you. And I had no issue at all with you telling me about the 3 gardens. I did have it on a list, but sometimes when people also say it to you, it pushes you a little bit anyway. So it was good, thank you. So public comment. Yes.
Michael Joyce at 12 Eagle Valley. It's about the water issue, where we're still getting dirty water, and because we don't have a licensed guy at the plant, who is actually doing the testing of the water? So we can at least say to New York that we're trying to comply. And how much per month is that is that a tax burden on the tax base in the village extra? And the other question I have is, I believe there was a gentleman who applied for a position who did have a water license. If there was a vote on it, I'd like to know how the vote went down, who voted for or against. Because I understand we need 2 people with licenses in case one gets sick or goes on vacation. So at least we could have one, even though he's outside the village. And then maybe we could work on getting somebody inside the village to get a license if that's what the game plan is. But right now we're not in compliance. So I'd like to know how that vote went down. And if it wasn't negative, what were the reasons that we,
Mike, look, I can quite quickly say to you, there was no vote, so let's get past that. There was no vote.
so he wasn't even considered then?
Oh, it was considered.
Okay, and
And as far as, when you say a minute ago, 30 seconds ago, not in compliance, we are. So be careful that you, when you say that.
when I say not in compliance, I mean, we don't have a licensed guy at the water plant, do we?
We have two.
Well, we do have two.
I wouldn't
Paying
say,
extra.
I wouldn't say that unless we did.
Well, hang on, so we do have two licensed guys at the water plant,
Because when we lost the license,
right,
we had to find somebody quickly,
right.
and they're getting paid extra at a tune of $3,000 a week. That we're paying.
$3,000 a week? That, the tax
I'll tell you why.
base?
That's right. Until we actually get our village employee who lost his license to get re-licensed.
Okay, but until then, you've got, now we're in compliance, but we're paying $3,000 a week?
Yes, just to use their license.
Oh my God. Oh, thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
But I think Gary will be talking about the water, so.
Yeah, I got it.
Just a quick question, 427 Main Street, Everett. When is, can we expect the 22-23 budget report to come out? From the
23, 22, 23.
last year's budget?
Oh, well, he always likes to say by September, but it never works out that way. So here, it's the middle of October. So I'm not gonna give you a date because that wouldn't be, I wouldn't know, but it has to be soon. It has to be. Does anyone else know anything?
No, but I've been waiting for it
Yeah.
because I would like to see how over budget we went,
Right.
right? And we've had a lot of walls to fix, a lot of leaks to fix. We, paying a lot of overtime on a lot of our village employees. So I have a feeling we went over budget, and I would like to be able to report that to the public.
22. It's the 22 budget, not 23, okay. The treasurer will be here this week. I'll speak to him and ask him what he would be able to give a better date than me.
I just wondered if he gave you the.
No, he did not, no. I will get it though, this week. Anything else? Yes.
Yeah, hi, Ron Malzak, Perry Avenue. I asked some questions last board meeting about the comprehensive plan that's coming. And I'm still a little bit confused about it in the sense that you hired this LA group to write it up, but yet I'm not hearing any from them. Are they asking residents what what we think should be done in the village?
No.
Or are they getting input from you, from the village board?
Well, they have received input from both this board and the public already. And I didn't bring it up with me, but I have the roadmap on the comp plan and the zoning, because they're kind of related. There will be, I think I said it the last time, there will be 2 more public input.
Well, that's right.
One on comp.
I wasn't asked anything about it by the LA group, and I was wondering how those decisions are made.
Yeah.
Because last week I asked about the B1 district having to have mixed use. Retail on the bottom floor, apartments on the which I think is stifling development, stifling a business owner. And also, that makes me ask, what about the business, the property owners in the current business district with empty stores? Well, how do they feel about this?
Well,
you gotta put
I
this
don't
in-
know how they
you
feel. They gotta
You gotta put it up in front of the public.
They have
That's
to
why
be-
no one asked me or anything about it.
Well.
Public comment seems like, 2 public comments at board meetings just seems like it's just put whatever was decided.
Sir, nothing, it's sad. Number one, nothing, not only comp plan or zoning, but nothing is being pushed through. That's number one. But we're talking about the comp and the zoning, or you're just talking about the comp. It doesn't matter. Nothing is being pushed through. If anything is being pushed through, they would know it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, as I said the last meeting, I'm gonna say it to you again, I don't have the date, because they're not ready
Yeah,
yet, to have public input. We're gonna have a meeting at the senior center, and that's when everyone, all these people you talk about, I hope they come, but don't count on it. Don't count on it.
But then we've already paid them, and if there's changes, we're gonna have to pay them again, correct?
No, this is all part of it. Them coming down from, where they come, where?
Saratoga.
Saratoga. That's already, that's not it.
Okay, so if there's changes, as I remember,
No.
before when there was changes from the square footage apartments from
Yeah,
300 to 800,
No, it's a
there was gonna be more.
It's a document,
refiling
it's a
from
working
the
document.
charges.
It's a working document.
I think, Joe,
Go ahead.
can I say, Mr. Malaco, I think I see your concern because I feel the same concern. I know from watching the village board meetings in 2019, 2020, when this zoning amendment was done, that you were in a lot of those board meetings, right?
Yes.
And I think what is concerning about what I'm seeing is that there is a lot of apathy with the public because they didn't, even now, 3 years later, two years later, right? When you walk around, and I've knocked on doors saying, did you know you're now in a business district? All of them look befuddled. Everybody says, what do you mean we're in a business district? And if I say that was on public hearings, it was in the newspaper, you know, the changes that were now, your B3, B1, B3, all of Main Street is business district, except for the east side, not all of the east side of Main Street. But people didn't know that, and people still don't know that.
That's why I question, like, the process here is, how do we get more residential input? How do we get more involvement in local government?
That's exactly what they said. They said, how come nobody asked us? Nobody knocked on our door. Nobody asked us what we thought about it. And I said, well, it was in the newspaper. And they said, you know, who reads the newspaper?
And the most pressing concern about the comprehensive plan and the zoning is to increase the tax base so that we have more tax dollars coming in. And I look forward to seeing it, and I sure hope it's written up that way that spurs development in the village and more residents, which will require more businesses, which will fill the empty stores. Thanks for listening.
I think his point, I think Ron's point is that, you know, if we're paying the LA Group $17,500 to do this zoning amendment or zoning study, why aren't they out in public asking the people what they think? I think that is a very valid point. Why are they waiting for us to tell them what we think as board members, instead of them being out there for that amount of money, knocking on doors, asking people what they think, what they want.
They could do a mailing to everybody, the property owners.
So, I mean, it's a valid point, right? I mean, the citizens don't seem to know that it happened. And they're surprised that we're looking at it again, using their money. So, is there something we can do about that?
I guess not.
Yeah,
Thank you for asking them.
The mailing could go.
That's a good one. Mailing,
Now,
maybe.
mailing to the property owners, how would you, getting ideas is a good thing. Because the first comprehensive plan didn't have very good ideas.
It is hard to get input from the public until something's already done, and it's too late. You've been here for many, many years, so, and you know as well as I do, I mean, you know, it's kind of hard, and like Trustee Guerrero said, it is a good thing to put out mailers, but half the time, it's sad, people don't read what's in the paper, people don't look at on channel, I think 23 it is, or whatever the case is, you know, and everything goes by word of mouth. And the sad thing is that a lot of people do not come to the meetings that stuff is brought up, and they get it secondhand, so.
It's up to,
you know.
it's up to the board
You know.
to figure out how to get more public involvement.
Well, that's
You know?
true, but I mean, it's put out there, but if people don't wanna show up, sir, they're not gonna show up, that's the sad thing about it, but, you know.
The birthday.
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Olga Anderson on New York Park, which I think is very relevant to this discussion. As everybody knows, we've had a construction project going on in New on the sewer and the water and all of that. And that has been an incredibly well-done public communication project. There was very, very detailed outreach to the community, to the residents. There were letters, there was the engineering reps were knocking on doors, took email addresses. They did a fantastic and continue to do a fantastic job of reaching out to the residents about what is going on, what they're going to do, what they are doing, what they did, that type of thing. So there's a model there. There's a public communication model that can be followed, and I would urge the board to urge the LA group to adopt a similar thing. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Just a few comments, and, you know, everything that I think the board is hearing tonight is good, and it's always very good to have public input. I know that 10 years ago, when they redid the master plan, there was public input, and 10 years ago, I'm not sure how many people in the room that are in the room tonight were at that meeting or any of those subsequent meetings. But that's okay. It's okay, because sometimes during certain times in the community's lifespan, you know, we have different folks coming and getting interested at different times. And I think once we have the public meetings, that some of you folks in the audience tonight will certainly show up. I think some of the folks that have come at previous meetings that are now understanding a little bit better on what they are zoned will probably come to the meetings. I think with the recent investment into Main Street, there will be some new players coming to those meetings, and I think some of the current business property owners will be coming to those meetings. And let's keep in mind, you know, these zoning laws and changes is almost fluid. I mean, we could amend, we could change. The pattern that may have worked 20 years ago may not be working for the next 20 years. So, you know, depending on what we end up doing after the whole thing has been all collected and it's paid professionals that eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff, you know, planning, Main Street planning, zoning planning, infrastructure planning, you know, tourist planning. Once that document's finished, if we have to amend it and change it, we may have to amend and change it. And we will do that if it's so deemed necessary. And there's a process to do that. And as always, we always want the public's input in that whole master plan process. So that's all I have to say.
If I could just say, I have the '09 comprehensive plan. And it was a wish list of things that never happened. And I don't want this new one this new comprehensive plan to be the same garbage of nothing's gonna happen in this plan. Let's be realistic here and come up with good concrete ideas to increase our tax base, increase the tourist dollars, increase everything that Jim is talking about. But the '09 plan was terrible, and I don't know who on this board was there at that time writing it up. But I read it, nothing happened. Nothing happened in that, and it's been many years.
In
Thanks.
fact, there's only one thing that happened from that 2009 comprehensive plan, and that was the zoning changes, which 3 years later, we're trying to amend with more money. I agree. I think, you know, the idea that, oh, let's just let this happen and then we'll amend it according to what the public wants, that costs money. So I do think that for the amount of money we're paying this group, they should have mailers. They should be out there in the public. They should be knocking on doors. right?
Yes.
During the dissolution vote for 27. For $27,000, they were able to get a lot of people involved through online, right? Mailers, email, everything. And they reached a lot of people that way. So I don't see why it cannot be done before they come up with their recommendations. I think it is a good idea instead of backpedaling every few years at a cost to thousands of dollars of taxpayer money.
I think, last comment, because I don't, I'm not looking to argue, but I think the zoning change that we fixed a month or so ago was due from an error in putting the zone together. So let's not cloudy things up a little bit with what we're explaining, number one. Number two, it would be naive to think from any member of the board that things don't change. And if the last master plan was so horrible, and the boards that were sitting up here were so horrible, then how were we able to, you can't take the bad and if you're not gonna take the good, how are we able to attract a multi-million-dollar hotel project? How are we having people who bought a vacant building on Main Street, multiple buildings on Main Street? How are they buying buildings and wanting to turn them into restaurants? Look, I get it. I get it. We need to do whatever we need to do to keep attracting that type of investment. I'm fine with that. But let's not do it by, saying that everybody was asleep at the switch last time and they were terrible people and they did terrible things. Like some of it did cultivate a little bit because there is some investment going on Main Street. So let's just stay positive and keep moving forward, and when we have to make changes, we'll make changes. If that's on the master plan and we want public input, I want it, because I don't know everything there is about zoning, and I don't claim to. So that's my last comment.
Sorry, Jim, I really don't want to go back and forth on this again, okay? But two things you said are wrong. One is, that's a very expensive multi-million-dollar vacant lot right now, okay? Nothing is happening that I can see. I'm for it and I want it to happen, so I'm not down on it, but I would like to see it happen. But it hasn't happened yet, number one, from a 2009 comprehensive plan, and it's 2022. Number two, this idea that this 350 square foot per dwelling is a mistake is really a lie. It's a lie, and I don't know, Elise, why you are letting them put the blame on you. It was not Elise's mistake. First of all, I actually went to Orange County Planning Board and got the minutes, many minutes of all these boards, where the planning board here, our local planning board here, repeatedly asked that question. Are you sure you want 350 square feet? And watching those village board meetings, everybody on the board said yes. Orange County Planning Board, I think his name is Zach. I spoke to him, he sent me the minutes. He said that was a point of contention even then. It was mentioned repeatedly, and we asked, are you sure that's what you want? And the answer was yes. To say that it's a mistake is really misleading the people. And I think it's very deceptive to try to tell the people that it was just a mistake that we're trying to correct. It was deliberate. It was a very deliberate decision. The planning board, the zoning board, everybody was aware of what was in that document and was asked, this board was asked repeatedly before that was passed. But you can say it all day long that it was a mistake,
Okay.
but it wasn't from history.
Comments we're doing? Oh, just water report you? I wasn't,
Whatever you want to
Yeah.
say, you say.
No,
I have a hook.
just to answer Mr. Joyce's question. Yes, our water license, employee, had his license expired. He thought it was supposed to be the month of September. It's not until the certificate, or excuse me, the test is not until the month of October. I think it's October 26th. So, because we were always supposed to have two up there, we did, and then, one left and another one went and worked at West Point. for the contractor. And our employee does not have the license, so yes, we hired a group that filled in for us when, our employee was on vacation, because we only had the one. So he's been doing this for about a year and a half by himself, for the meantime. So right now, we are on the coattails, on their certificate. We're using their license. They are still doing, everything that's supposed to be done, regular testing of the water and, the bog meadow checking, and he's doing his daily reports as he does when he was in charge. But he's doing them now underneath the license that we hired this company until he gets his certificate back. So that answers your question. Am I correct on that, Mr. Mann? Okay, all right. So that answers that on that, sir. And then water plant, we're putting out about 540,000 gallons per day. Bog Meadow is at 45%. Even though we had all the rain that we had, Bog Meadow is still, kind of low. It's, they have to open up the one part so it flows down. Once the cascade is done, then they shut it off so they can retain water. So basically, still be very diligent about your water use, please. Because like I said, we had a lot of rain, but it's not filling up the way we're supposed to. So, I mean, so there's no leaks or anything up there of that nature. Because that was a question that was brought up, hey, hopefully you don't want to have a leak. Well, they don't so far. So, that's where we are on the water department. And then there was just to let you update, there was a contractor fixed the service leak that was at 208 Main Street. That was right across from Napa, right? Yeah. So that was there, and then that's it. That's all I have. So thank you. Any questions for me or?
Make a comment.
I'm sorry. So how long do you expect us to be riding on the coattails paying $3,000 a week? How
Well,
long does that go?
Until our employee gets his certificate, which he takes the test on the 26th of October. And I don't know how quick they move it. Hopefully, and diligently, as soon as he gets the test, we kind of push it through. So I don't know, I can't tell you, sir, if it's gonna take a week after the test, or it's gonna take 2 weeks or longer. I don't know that.
So the period before, right now, X period before he takes the test, how many weeks have you?
Since October 1.
Since October 1?
But we were only paying 2,000 a week. And then I'm sorry, I don't mean to say only, I mean, it still hurts everybody. We're all taxpayers, it still hurts us all. There's no doubt about that. I apologize for that. But because we were turned in and that we had to make sure we had another license, that we had a letter saying that we had to have another licensed operator up there with a license. So they worked a price out, Mr. Mayor did, with the contract. And instead of paying 4,000 or 5,000 a week, it's 3,000 a week. So.
All right, Jim?
Hang on, can
Yeah,
I just
go ahead.
comment on that? And, I've been alone in this board just trying to tell you a lot of things that's going on. But the one thing that I really would like to compliment the mayor on is that 2 months ago, he knew that there was something wrong with us not having 2 licenses, which was a requirement for the village. And he tried to tell the whole board that we needed to hire a second person with a water license so that we are not in violation. We've had one executive meeting after another, sometimes lasting 3 hours, 2 hours, 40 minutes, okay, about this very issue where there's an applicant who actually had a water license. It would have saved us all this headache and money if we had actually acted on it 2 months ago when he presented it to us. But one meeting after the other, and the whole board couldn't come to an agreement. And I don't know if somebody else would want to explain why that was, but it was an opportunity that we missed, and now we're paying the price.
We also asked Kevin Hurst if he would like to come in He was up at the water plant for years and years. He didn't want to do it, and his license had run out. We also asked people from American Water who used to work at DPW, would you like to work at the water plant on the weekends for overtime for what you're up there? We'll pay you. It didn't happen. One thought he wanted to do it. He came in and then he said, I don't want to do it. I want my weekends to myself. So there were people who we went after.
Okay. Jim?
Surprisingly, even though that the Bog Meadows at 45%, the sewer department does keep a log of how much rain we get. And according to their records, we got 5 inches of rain in September, but still, we still need more rain. But the average volume of wastewater treated for the month of September was 592,000 gallons. The facility met all New York State DEC SPDES limitations. And the belt fill press was in operation for 10 days. Secondary clarifier, West Path, some of this stuff, you might have to, the board knows. Repaired a main drive chain, which is a major part down at the sewer plant that was replaced. And then they just do normal checking and maintenance of pumps. There's a couple different areas that we have in the community that work in conjunction with the main sewer plant down on Rose Drive, the old sewer plant, which is down on Havens Road, and 2 different pump stations over by Perry Ave and then over by the ambulance also. They routinely check those areas to make sure that they're working properly. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Brian?
Okay. This is the police report. Make sure everybody can hear. The arrest summary, year-to-date, for this month, we had 2 felonies, 9 misdemeanors, and 2 violations. We had 13 total arrests. Summons, the parking meter tickets were 33, traffic was 15, came up to 48. The revenues collected year-to-date meter is $2,378. Village ticket fees are $4,635. And the report fees were $12. It came out to $7,025. I went up to Napa. Yeah, I needed windshields, wipers. And I met a gentleman named Kevin. I never knew his first name, but I had to say hello to him. He is really looking to find someone for that building. He is very pro-community. He has talked with a couple of people. He's working on things now. This man, when I say pro-community, I remember one time the DPW snapped a hose at night. It was winter. They called him. He came out of his house, got the hose, came back out, hooked it up, and we went back to work. His biggest concern right now is leaving that store empty and not having someone to come in there. So I just want to mention that. It was a nice conversation, and the people I talked to have said the same thing. He's very pro-community. You walk in there, they wait on you, they're polite, and they take good care of us. Now I'm not done. Thank you. I read an interesting article. We have it in our magazine, and it's about leadership. And it was interesting to note that this weekend I was out campaigning for a candidate who's running for senator. It was interesting to see some of the remarks, to hear them. I don't vote. I don't want to get involved. Well, you ever thought about doing something like with the environment or this or that or the schools? No, I don't have any time for that. How about working with senior citizens? No, I don't have time for that. I don't even vote half the time. Well, we can all sit here and talk about, we have a website, and we have a newspaper, and we have some meetings at the senior center, but not everybody shows up. So the article really is pointing to a symbiotic relationship. Do you want change? You've got to work for it. if you really believe that a group of individuals are gonna bring about the changes that you want, it's not going to happen. If you think the county's gonna do it, that's not gonna happen either. Or the state. You need to get involved. It's unbelievable. One person said, I haven't voted for 20 years. I said, oh, interesting. So I would suggest that we talk about leadership. It should be coming from the community just as well as from up here. And when you negate that fact, then you have to do some soul searching too. That's it.
Melanie?
Sorry, Mary Ellen texted and said we had to talk on the microphone and that she couldn't hear anybody. So, okay, I'm gonna talk on the microphone. I think Ray Devereaux was pointing to me when he said he couldn't hear us, so, okay. Gary, Pablo Polito wanted me to read this letter and ask if we would allow it, but I think there's a reason why it couldn't be, but maybe we couldn't. So Pablo Polito works in the water plant. He sent a letter to us, the whole board, asking to fund to obtain a water license. The license is an online course, that should take approximately 6 months, cost no more than $400. I've been employed by the village for 30 years, would greatly appreciate the opportunity. Granting permission to me to obtain my license would in the future lessen the burden on the village to have 2 licensed operators. To qualify, I must have 1 year experience with the water department, but I only have currently 10 months. But by the time I finish, I'll be within the year time frame. Please give thoughtful consideration to my request. I think it's a good request. We should really have more water operators who are licensed, so we're not in the predicament we're in. But I think there's something that's a problem with the online course. Is that right? Or should we grant him this request?
Yes, we were by advice to give us, to have them go to take the test in person, which I think is up in Cortland, if I'm correct. And I think there's like a preliminary test first to see that you have to take a pre-test in order to pass that, just to go to get your license. So this was advice that, online, it's better to do it in person. It's better for all to do it in person instead of doing online. So, we can look at something like that. If the board, we'll get together and talk about that, which, but online, no, we were advised kind of not to do it online, so.
Okay, so we'll just let Pablo know that it's a really, you have to be available. You have to be present for the course.
It's an in-person class. It's up in, I'm pretty sure it was in Cortland, that we were told by the,
That's right.
So don't make a motion to approve it because we don't want somebody going to an online course. Okay, thank you. I did want to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce. Charlene Yell, who is the president of the chamber, had this health and wellness community fair just a few weeks ago. I was at Roe Park. It was a great success. And she's having another community fair for Halloween. It's called Trunk or Treat. And that's on October 30th in Roe Park. She had it last year. It was really successful. She's doing a lot of great things for the community. And this is a person who's not paid to do anything, right? She just wants everybody to get together, do fun things, get to know each other. But she is looking for volunteers, and she's looking for people who would do some decorating of their cars for the Trunk or Treat. And that's October 30, 2022. If you need her email address, just get in touch with me and I'll send you her email address and you can volunteer. The farmer's market ended and, right, is it still ongoing? Oh, okay, how many more weeks? 2 more weeks for the farmer's market. It's highly successful, the Vision Farmer's Market. Just these kinds of community services, I think we should always mention because these are people who really put things together without a paycheck. And they try hard, the community, the environmental group with Olga, does a lot of things for us too. And the center, you never mention it, Brian, but the center of Highland Falls has a lot of activities ongoing. I think she sent me, Ann Molina sent me a list of what's going on. There's a bingo.
It's been canceled,
Ah!
lack of people interest.
Oh, no. And then there's this community speaker series where the seniors actually talk with
Yeah.
community leaders? Okay, and that's October 24, right? And there's a community scavenger hunt
Yep.
on October 30.
That I mentioned too.
Okay, again, people who don't get paid but want to get everybody engaged, right? One more thing that the Environmental Committee, Olga, has been wanting me to ask the board is about an EV charger. We have two in the municipal parking lot, but there's a company called Green Spot, and I sent that to everybody last board meeting. And they can put another two chargers, but not at the expense of the village. So they're gonna put it up and it's paid. You pay by the hour. Right now, we're spending about $2,000 every couple of months for the free chargers that are there. But this one, the village taxpayers wouldn't have to pay for. They maintain it, and they actually even give the village 10% of whatever money they make. So if you guys are interested in that, I can send you the information, and maybe we can vote on it on the next board meeting, or we can vote on it now. Do you want to vote on it now?
Well, the only thing I want to say is that,
You need to really talk to them. You need a they sent me a proposal, but yeah, I haven't sent them the
what we
proposal.
need to make sure is,
Where?
yeah, it's where, and they'll give us 10%. I want enough that pays for the electricity. That's what we're gonna do up here. We have the, we have it.
Okay,
It just isn't hooked up yet.
okay.
I have some people looking at the kilowatt hours and how much we pay to figure out how much we should charge. It's gonna be, I don't wanna be held to it, 18 to 20 cents for a period. I don't exactly know, but it'll pay for what we've been paying for. And so we would want the same thing there. Well, we'll talk about it.
It's very popular, yeah.
Yeah.
Will they have that, where you can pay for it on that one?
She
Yes.
mentioned that.
I think, okay. That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
heard that, that's what I'm.
And I think it's like $1 an hour to charge a Tesla. That's what I heard. So that's cheaper than gas. Right? Okay. One more thing. So Connect. This is the AOG, that's the West Point alumni. They come out here and they have done this program in the intermediate school. It's called Connect. I mentioned it at the last board meeting. They now have 160 registered students in the intermediate school. Again, free for us. They're paying for 11 staff, 11 educators, okay, and staff, and 6 administrative support. They're looking for a school nurse. So if anybody knows a school nurse, let me know. To be there between 3 and 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday. And the last thing for me,
There's different age groups.
and the different age
I
groups.
think Thursday and Friday have kids a little older than they are for the rest of the week.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
He didn't mention that to me. Yeah, but, oh, okay, thanks. So the last thing is my report from the building department. Again, Phil Hannawalt and Gabby, 11 permit applications for the month of September. Phil did 32 building permit inspections. He issued 17 violation notices. He did 9 municipal searches, filled 6 FOIL requests, and that's it. So he's been very busy.
Thank you.
I just wanted to give a shout out to the folks who put together the emergency service thank you on Sunday. It was very nice. It was a very good showing. I think the only folks who we were missing were the Town of Highlands PD, which, they could have been on a call or something. But the ambulance corps was there, the Highland Falls Fire Department was there, and the Highland Falls Police Department did show up there. It was a nice event. The weather was fairly decent, it was pretty good. And it was very nice. You know, they had a couple fire trucks up there, ambulance. I think eventually Jeff Gathers had a call and he had to leave, but it was a nice day. A lot of community folks were there, and it was a nice thank you to those folks who do emergency services that we always seem to talk about up here because, you know, like Trustee Guerrero said, they volunteer, and it's an important, vital service that they provide to the community. So we thank them.
Thank you. My question, do you have a filter on your water?
We use a Brita right now, and we're going to invest in
Okay, you don't have a filter. Okay.
And I priced it out to be in the range of 1,000 to 1,500 installed. So that's, as a taxpayer, that's what I'm gonna have to do to guarantee.
Okay,
Drinking
I'll take a
water.
motion to go into executive session on personnel.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Yes.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you.